Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 559, and today we'll be playing Poros and Legends of Runeterra. And so, welcome back to the old LOR. It's been a couple of months. We spent about a month playing Balatro, we spent about a month playing Backpack Battles, and now with the release of Dreamlit Paths, we'll be looking to play PvP and LOR for about the next month, and then the month after that I'm looking to play Path of Champions, and then the month after that I'm looking to play something else. And so we'll see how the cadence goes. That's my intent for the upcoming days. And so hopefully you're on board. And so if you were an LOR follower from ages ago and you're back, welcome back. If you were here from Balatro and Backpack Battles and stuck around, then welcome to the next game for you. And so, with the release of Dreamlit Paths, Lux is one of the more interesting cards to come out of the set. She comes on board with the Spirit mechanic, and then she's a very strong attacker, giving herself barrier, so she gets a bit of self-protection, and then she gives her supported ally a hit of Spirit. And so, while it doesn't necessarily look like she's that big up front, she's kind of a 7-stat 3-drop with protection when she attacks, which is just super, super efficient. But one of the things I've been kind of latching onto is the Lux level up ability, to where allies have attacked with or have gained while attacking 20 plus positive keywords. And so one of the kind of interesting things to that to me is not just chasing after the spirit mechanic, but looking towards these other units that already have bonuses attached to them. And the easiest way to get all of these bonuses attached to units is going to be the Poros. And so pretty much every Poro in the game comes with a keyword. We got Challenger, Elusive, Tough. Plunder picks up 2, Pouty kind of picks up 3, Proto has Impact, which can also be boosted, Fearsome, Randos on the patched Poro bot, on and on and on. All of these Poros have the ability to get a keyword which can be used to boost Lux, but then the next kind of piece to that is the Poro King is quite powerful, and that if we're just going to sit around and grow stats all day, then the Poro King is very good at staring down that battle and casting Poro Snack after Poro Snack after Poro Snack. And so I think on the whole, the synergies between Lux and the Poro King might have kind of an interesting space within this current meta. Some of the other stuff to call out here is we do have a small Challengers theme. Lux works fantastically with Challengers, and so we have the full 3 copies of Affectionate Poro, along with 2 copies of Scholarly Pioneer. The Scholarly Pioneer is going to be a very interesting unit in this upcoming format. Not just him, but the Explorers in general, with the quicksand ability out here, able to strip spirit. And so if your opponent runs their 0/0 spirit unit onto the board, you are able to strip focus off of the opposing units, take those stats away for 2 turns. And so quite interested to see how that plays out. If you're not familiar with the new cards that have come out of the new set, there's a couple of in here that excuse me, a couple in here that aren't super important but are new. Prototype Poro is an elusive Poro that also carries the attune mechanic, so it's got 2 keywords on it. The Last Breath, irrelevant in our deck. We're basically playing it as a differently named Poro that has 2 keywords for Lux. Otherwise, Ultra Soft Poro is another new one that, depending on how fast the meta is, we might be interested in playing more copies of it, but on play it heals your Nexus 1 for each ally with a subtype, so it's very easy for this to heal for 4 or 5 or 6, since all of the Poro units carry a subtype. It's not for each ally with a different subtype, it's just allies with subtypes, so if you have a board full of Poros, that is going to count. One of the cards that has impressed me more and more and more as time goes on is going to be the Light of Demacia. On the level 1, grants an ally spirit. On level 2, it grants an ally 2 spirit. And then on level 3, you boost. And so what we'll find with this quite frequently is we'll spirit one unit with Lux, we'll spirit another unit with this, we'll spirit another unit with perhaps Challenger with this as well, and then we'll boost and pick up +3/+3 across all of those units. Just a very effective way to pick up a bunch of stats. There's another boost mechanic within the Smoldering Smirk. You boost 2 allies and then they strike an enemy one after another. This is mainly in here just as a removal spell, but it's not to say that it can't pick up a little bit of value off of a boosted unit. Last but not least, the things that I like to call out here as a potential big showstopper play are going to be, is it within here? Is it going to show? Yeah, and so we do have the opportunity to pepper snacks up our units and then boost them all. And so we'll see if this comes together. It's typically the kind of play to where You pepper snacks in the middle of combat so your opponent doesn't see the stats and the impact coming, but it is worth noting that we do have the ability to put impact on the board and then boost it up. And there is the occasional way to pick up spirit that isn't quite visible. Fabled Poro can deliver spirit to all of our units. The same thing with impact. The patched Poro bot can random into spirit. It's very, very powerful to drop a turn 2, 3, 4 patched Poro bot because it hits spirit. And so we'll see if any of those kind of things come up as well. And so that's it. That's what we're doing battle with today. Let's go ahead and jump on in. And so I decided I'm not going to pay to win anymore. And so, you know, it's a bit unfortunate. I feel like Riot has burned me enough times to where I can't really feel like the game's going to be around forever. And so if the game doesn't feel like it's going to be around forever, I'm just not going to spend that kind of money on it. And so it's like a real double-edged sword that it feels like they've put themselves into, as to where the initial run of the game went out because they didn't make enough money, but then they went out and pissed me off enough to not spend any money on the game. And so well done, Riot. Nice sequencing there on those plays. And all right, up against Olseku, not playing dragons right from the front. Looks like we've got Lux Lillia. I assume that's going to be some kind of spirit-based deck. I'm going to shuffle everything out of here, look for the Poro King, look for the Poro Snacks here. I will mention, I brought forth the potential of playing an Altar of Unity Lux Lillia deck. It was something that I thought had a bit of potential. It turns out the Altar of Unity does not work the way I wanted it to. I was hoping that we would be able to put the Altar of Unity on the board and then play, say, a Spritelings. Spritelings is a 0/0. The Altar of Unity would then upgrade it to a 1/1, and then the Spirit bonuses would hit. But the Spirit bonuses count as the unit is on board, so that style of deck didn't necessarily work. Now, it's not to say there may not be some power there, right? Hitting things like the 4-mana Spirit Sisters, whatever it's called, is kind of interesting. There's the potential to hit the 5-mana unit that boosts all of your units, and so you do have this nice collection of units that can come in and get a lot of value out of the altar, right? If we're going to say Lux can get a bonus and Lila can get a bonus, and then basically all of the options can get the bonuses, right? So there is a lot of power potential there. It's just not something that I, at the end of the day, was super interested in trying to do. But all right, coming back to the battles here, opponents getting on board. I do really like the Dewdrop Harvest. This is a quite powerful card. I think we're just going to kind of lean in on the Poros here, though. We do have the potential next turn to play the Affectionate Poro and then form it up to take down the Lux Illuminated, and so we'll see if that's what's on the table. I would kind of prefer to see what units we have turn up, see if we hit a Poro Snacks or something along the way. And a very big pickup with Lux. We'll be able to get Lux on board. We can get our Affectionate Poro on board. We should be able to get into this combat with a little bit of form-up protection. Sounds good to me. We're also getting very close to flipping this Poro King. He's at 3 snacks. We have... we're about to level it up one more here with the Affectionate. We have the Pouty to get him to 5, and then the Poro Stories can get him up to 6. And so, lots of good stuff there. Alright, so no midpoint interaction to take that Dum-Dum off the board. He's definitely going to be getting the boosted Spritelings. Nothing that we can do about that. We could look to take the Spritelings off of the board, but I don't think I'm super interested in that. Just getting this Lux removed seems a little bit more important to me. Now we can come in and just throw away the units. We're going to fill out our board as it is, and so I'm not really fond of just sitting back and taking that one value attack. So what's our Lux up to? 6? I thought it was going to be bigger, but that's what she said, and we have some of these smaller units on board, so she'll start to level up a little bit more quickly on this next attack.
Make way for the Jarrow Parade.
All right, Weird Ezreal coming in, sure thing. We do need to get the additional Poros, so let's drop the stories in. We can play Plucky. It's a sort of shutdown on Ezreal. I would assume that he's going to have a boost or something here, so blocking with the Ezreal probably isn't really on the table. Or I'm sorry, blocking the Ezreal, yeah, probably not really on the table, but I think this is fine. The suppression is pretty annoying, though. We need 9 mana next turn if we want to Poro King suppression and play the snacks, but we're gonna have to burn through the mana to play an extra unit this turn. Let's just get these shitty Poros out of the way since it's gonna take some effort. Alright, what do we got? Scholarly Pioneer turns up. Very interesting, you know, it's a great way to just kill a Spritelings, right? We can kill all of the spirit off of the Spritelings. Kind of interested in that. We are going to need to drop the suppression out of our hand, though. And I think we can play Sinister Poro. I think that's the one that's going to get our... No, did we already play Sinister? the Poro King didn't level up, and so it's a touch awkward there. I was expecting him to go up to 6, and it did not happen. I did the mathematics on if it happened, and it did not. Alright, so we'll start off killing Dum Dum there. Got 2 challenges left. I think we want to just get the Spite Mother off board. Like, 2 things that happen here, I think. Well, I guess if the Sprite Mother gets boosted, that's kind of awkward. But if she sleeps, we're okay with that, right? If he sleeps the Sprite Mother to protect her in combat. Protecting Jaro and letting the Sprite Mother go? That's weird as fuck. Weird as fuck, I tell you. And a fresh Lux, sure thing. Alright, maybe we can get Dum Dum to level up this time. Poro Fly has to be a new one, right? I think so. It sucks we're missing out on a potential Poro, though. It's a bit of a bummer to have it come about like that. I think we sequenced that okay. Granted, from back in the days of the Poro King being relevant with the likes of Zolani, I did not partake in that. I did not really participate in that kind of nonsense, and so I'm not entirely certain how to read into that if we messed up with the Poro King or not. You're gonna get rallied on? No, he's just using his ability. Okay, gotcha. He's got a bunch of mana. Curious what would be in hand to where nothing is coming down at this moment. Alright, I think this works out, right? So we play the Poro King, he's leveled up, so we get the snacks in hand, and then we can follow up with a second Poro to get another snacks in hand, and then we have enough money left over to... we have enough left over to get both snacks on board. So what did we hit? We hit Colorful. Allies get keywords and stuff. Man, he is stacked. We picked up the Frosted Snacks, but it's like I'm not even certain that we're really capable of attacking here. I think we just have to play the 1 and stop. Where'd you get so many stats at, bro? I guess it's with the Lux being flipped, right? Doubles up the spirit whenever a Poro hits. That's gonna be annoying as shit, though. Gonna take some work to fight through this. We have to frost down the Ezreal. Still no guarantees. Hopefully we can fight through. We are up to an 8-8 now, and the Spritelings is not big enough Oh, shit. Oh, that gave him spirit, didn't it? Fuck. I mean, we have another Poro King in hand, but... Alright. Alright, fine. Fine. We were supposed to get more stats than them. That was not the way I was expecting it to go. Like I'm the fuck, play again. I'm curious if like one extra round of Poro snacks would have been anywhere close enough to stop that. Alright, next battle though, up against Caitlyn Teemo. The puff caps coming right at us. Sure thing. I'm curious if we even really want Lux at this point. Like, we're not going to get to attack with her until turn 4. We'll hang on to her just to see how it plays out, but it doesn't seem like she's going to be that strong on the even attacks. She's just kind of stopping us from playing more Poros, and so... Opponent doesn't have Teemo, though. I'm gonna tell you one of the things we're gonna be doing a lot of with Teemo here in the upcoming days is there is the new equipment, the new Noxon equipment that gives your unit +3/+3, and then if it doesn't attack that turn, it gets a Gloom. Let me tell you, playing Teemo on turn 1 and then making Teemo a 4/4 with the Gloom equipment, and then him shrinking to a 3/3 and then attacking with a 3/3 Teemo, still feels pretty fucking good. And so I'm very interested in getting the usage out of that guy. I'm very curious to how he plays out. It seems to be a quite strong card to me.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm just gonna go ahead and slam the Lux in here. If he has the follow-up, like Poison Dart is in the format now. If like he darts the Lux after combat, I don't really care. We still have another one in hand and kind of need some stuff to do. Our hand is a little expensive, and so maybe just like throwing away Luxes doesn't feel that great here. But it seems okay at the start. So Poro King up to 2. We can get him up to 4. Getting close. Is that where we want to be? These Poro attacks don't look that good. Like, we can potentially just play the Lux spell in combat here, but I don't think I'm really on board with that. This doesn't seem like a particularly strong attack. We need to be getting our Poro snacks on board from this Aurora Borealis. Okay, so yeah, we can ideally, I guess, play the Aurora, generate some Poros, and then if they're new ones, we can kind of fight through here. I think we hit how we wanted to, right? These are both new Poros with the elusive one, and no, the Spell Shield bro is already on board. Shit. Kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer, I tell you. Let's just hold back on the mana. Puff caps are rolling through. Jesus, how would we have so many puff caps in our deck? It's like we got up to 39 and we haven't even gotten hit by Teemo yet? I don't know where that came from. Jesus. So yeah, unfortunate day for the Poro King. Does he level up himself? This is this is something we should know at this point. Other new, so it's not going to be the Poro King that gets the job done, right? He's not going to boost himself. I think this is okay though. I mean, we can just take this like 1 damage a draw for a while and not feel too bad about it. It's as we get hit with Teemo as to where things get problematic. And we do have a blocker for him. We have the prototype Poro on board. I don't like how we played this game, but I think we're in a decent spot. The thing that's worrisome is like we can get a shutdown on his attack this turn and then attack next turn, and we're not going to be able to win the game. It's like we're a couple of turns away from dealing meaningful damage. Just blow it all, right? Something like this keeps the Poro King alive. I'd kind of rather just block with Lux, but she is kind of expensive to replay. So we fall to 10. It's not horribly low. Finally start to getting a snack. Where's them Zolanis at? That's what we need for this next turn. Give me some of that Zolani. Alright, he's out of stuff to do at least. He's gonna. We both draw 2 cards for this turn. We're a little over a damage a draw. It'd be nice if we had a way to generate lifesteal. Can't get it off the Lonely Poro. But so let's add the Pouty. Maybe we'll come up with a way to finish this off this turn. 2 Frostbites isn't it. We didn't hit Impact, and say if we manage to find Boost or something, we could potentially get the shutdown this turn.
Me miss? Not by a long shot.
Let's see. I mean, the unit I want to get off the board is the Charlatan Fishmonger, right? We can deal with all the rest of this bullshit. We can Frostbite the Caitlyn. And so I think the way we want to go about this is I'm actually looking to play Form Up on Dum Dum here. And everybody else just gets to attack. Don't want to attack with the Poro King. Okay. So I mean he's gonna block Lux with Caitlyn, and then we'll look to Frostbite her. Like I think that's fine. Either way. So we shouldn't take any damage. We're gonna start clearing out his board. I don't know. Squeeze them cheeks, boys. It seems like it's a decent place to be in. Oh, we didn't actually kill the Caitlyn. That's fine.
Teemo, that is not regulation equipment.
A little sloppy. You gotta give me a break. I haven't played the game in 2 months, and so give me a little break. All right, looks like everybody's drawing 2. Hope you all squeezed him. 3 damage in total. Okay. Can you... I can't remember if you can hit lifesteal off of the Fabled Poro. I'm going to play it like you can, because we can stop all the rest of his units. But if we hit lifesteal in here, we have a real shot to do something cool, right? Okay, here we go. We hit it on both the Fabled Poro and the Poro King. Beautiful. Much as she's at 4. Do we have any clever way out of this that doesn't involve playing the snack? We can't strike this turn. That's too bad. Well, we do at least get to block. That's pretty good, right? Okay. That's going to get us out of the way. I knew we could do it, fam. We figured it out. We did it. Sloppy as shit, but we did it at the end of the day. This final card, the Bursting Backpack. Is that how we got so many puff caps in here? Man, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like I was looking at our deck and expecting the puff caps to be at like 5 earlier, and it was up in the 30s. It's like, Jesus fuck. Like I just completely whiffed at how that was coming together.
Burn away the shadows.
whatever. This should be good now. Where's Teemo at? Yeah. Okay. This is one of the things I'll have to get used to with Lux. You typically want her attacking on the right side of your units, right? She wants to see the units to the left attack, so she gets to come in and deal more damages. I'm very, very forgetful of doing that. Doesn't seem like it's going to matter here. We're exacties with his blocks on board, but worth knowing. Worth knowing. All right, not bad, not bad.
No match for Crown Guard.
So yeah, I'm curious about the upcoming state of PvP. Like, I didn't make a video on the patch notes because I feel like another opportunity to just have to give Riot a chance, right? I've given them so many fucking chances, it's painful. They went and took Expedition out of the game, that was a chance. They went and took PvP out of the game, that was a chance. They fired like half the fucking staff, that was a chance. They still like keep coming back because the game is so fucking good. And they made note of, you know, changing how the release cadence is going to work and how the champions are going to work and stuff, and that's fine. And I'm interested to see how they do it. But one of the things that they said was, like, this set, the Dreamlit Paths, is going to be the last kind of major release in the way that we see sets come out, where they have the big theme and then they all come out with a big chunk of cards. And so what they've said in the most recent patch notes is that seasons are going to be 3 months long, and then after 3 months there's going to be a rotation, and so they'll swap the cards that are currently in the format to change up standard. And so the Doomers of the world are taking that to mean that there's no longer going to be any new cards entering PvP, and they're just going to be switching around the cards that are in standard over and over and over again. I don't imagine that that's the way that it's going to be. I have this here. We just need to get to the Poro King as fast as we can. I kind of have a thought and a feel that what we're going to be seeing is they're going to release like champion kits or champion packs, and just kind of like groups and thoughts and ideas of cards that they'll then plop right into the path of champions. And so if you look at the release for, you know, Dreamlit Paths, there wasn't a I should say there's like a lot of incohesive cards, right? Everything that came out of Noxus doesn't apply to Gloom. Everything that came out of for the most part, like Targon and stuff, they didn't matter. This is a set that was really focused on Lux, and it was focused on Lillia, and focused on Vex, and the Spirit mechanic, and the Gloom mechanic. And so what I suspect is going to happen is that... are any of these attacks ever good? I guess I'm not opposed to just going ahead and getting these birds off of the board. But if we're getting the birds off of the board, we don't need to spirit our Poros. And so, like, I think that they would realistically just release the Gloom kit and maybe like one flavor card and call it a day, right? They would be the intent would be pushing that shit into the path of champions, but it wouldn't entirely, you know, be like a full standard release. And I would assume that, you know, over the course of a year, you may miss, you know, the faction numbers to where it's currently pretty balanced. And so that's just my kind of thought on the matter. Is I think they're going to keep releasing new cards into PvP, but, you know, as say the next big theme is like, you know, the fucking Shurima party or something, and they release a new Sun Disc and like 5 Shuriman champions, then they could like rotate standard around that stuff actually working and fitting. And I think that that's what they actually mean when they say that there's going to be a rotation with each set, and then the sets are going to be slightly different. They're going to, well, I would say with Riot that typically you would be like, well, they should probably, you know, keep putting out cards so they can make money, but who fucking knows what... they apparently didn't get that memo over the course of the past 4 years, and so I'm not entirely certain what the game plan is there, but at the end of the day, I do kind of expect it to work that way. So here in 3 months, they're going to release like 4 or 5 champions to Path of Champions, and there'll be a slight rotation in terms of what Standard is doing, and then that little rotation will just be to kind of like balance out the number of cards within the set. So that's my thinking. Could be right, could be wrong. Wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong, but that's what I think. So here, dude's playing Elder Dragon. I don't think we have to worry about him rallying on us, and so I'm just going to drop the Fabled Poro, help us level up the Poro King just a little bit more, get some of these snacks up and running in hand. We should still be able to safely attack with Lux and the Daring Poro. Looks like hitting Elusive on the Daring Poro is going to let us attack with him as well. And it is worth noting that with Lux in hand, we can boost, and so after this attack, we're going to have 4 units with Spirit, so it's kind of like a mini Poro snacks that we can get additional access to here. So we'll see how this goes. Our life total is low, but I feel fairly safe. Like this is the kind of turning point, I think, to where if the opponent doesn't kill us on their next attack, then we're probably in good shape. Interesting, he gives up his Garen. He could have taken the Garen flip to like block Lux and get the Garen flip, but he takes down the Poro King, which I get. The Poro King is a tough card to manage, but we're feeling kind of okay given that we have so many units in hand. Or I'm sorry, so many boosts in hand. We can survive this, right? Like the unblocked units would be 5, and then we have a lifesteal unit on board as well.
Stand strong.
We kill any of this stuff? We do have boost on the Plunder Poro, so like I'm kind of looking at it sucks to reveal the entirety of our hand, but I think we probably just have to do it anyways here. So I'm looking to say Poro. Well, the Poro snack is probably just worse than the incandescence, right? We can look to do something like this. Kill his unit. Wow, our units are so bad at blocking. But we do gain a bunch of health this way. Oh man, I don't know about that. Maybe it's better just to put the little Poro on the board. Okay, like that just I thought that we were going to be in the spot to where we would be able to shoot down some of those units and then at least have something behind that could come in and block some of this stuff. And that is not the case. We are pretty far away from anything like that. And so we just need to not die. That takes us to 2. Still get to hang on to the Fabled Poro. Everyone else dies. Okay. And then we can refill the board with Lux and the Plucky. So if he does look to circle around with another attack next turn, we should ideally be back up to 6 units. Then of course all this shit's gonna shrink when the 4 Demacia goes away.
The light guides us all.
And a Poro Stories. I think I'm definitely on board with playing it. Let's do this. Let's lead with the Pioneer. I'm gonna just take the heal. I'm not really certain that we're gonna use it. My intent for the turn is just like attack with Lux and the Pioneer and maybe take the Battlesmith down. And then if the Lux gets killed in combat, we can still like Poro Stories and completely fill out our board, right? We should still have 3 units behind.
Beaten down. Soldiers, to me.
curious what's involved in his hand here. So right, he's going to for Demacia next turn. We'll have the opportunity to Aurora Borealis and get a bunch of stats, or Smoldering Smirk again. We could look towards either one.
Courage, soldier.
All right. Well, without a rally, I mean, I got to imagine that we're safe. This is this shitty spot again to where our units aren't big enough to survive these combats, but maybe one day. Maybe one day, fam. Alright, so the double snack comes in. There's a good block. We get to kill a unit, right? And then we just gotta block everything else.
I won't back down.
Alright. So we're obviously dead to a rally, but we have to grow in stats at some point, right? We have to eventually get enough stats to survive this onslaught. These Poros got to grow up to something special. Ugh, that's a good dragon. We survived the damage, but it's gonna be a stretch to get 6 units on the board again. He's gonna dragon number 2. I'm curious, like, what his hand looks like that has 3 cards in it. He's clearly just sitting on units, but it feels like he's been sitting on 2 and 3 cards for a while now, and so I would think that it's probably just like a bunch of units in hand. Get the chance to kill one though. Look out, look out. So you're saying there's a chance. We should have probably dropped off this this heal to face a little bit ago. You do got to worry a little bit about him being like, LOL, I've been holding this dragon, and so we'll see. What? He might do something dumb. You never know. He may not just slam all the units right on the board. He might try to make a scout attack or something. Yeah, just a touch short. A little bit short. Alright. GG. Rough day for the Poros. And so, we're getting late in the video. Let's get one more battle in. I usually like to get 5 in. I know I used to do 8, now I do 5. But I want to keep it under the hour mark. And these earlier in the season games tend to take a little bit longer, and so it is what it is. Gives us more time to just bitch about Riot, you know? Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Old Meat Spin. Are you all young enough to remember Meat Spin? So, if you're not familiar with Meat Spin, this was a... Back in the heyday, back in the boomer era of the internet, you used to try and get your friends to click on links of inappropriate things, whether or not it's sexual in nature, such as meat spin, or something weird, or what I'm sure most people are familiar with is getting rickrolled, where you get to watch the oh shit, I can't remember the lyrics anymore, but you know what it is. Meat spin is a dude with a very large penis that has it spinning like a helicopter, and it's accompanied by a counter so that you know how many times that you've seen the meat spin. It's a classic one. It's one of my favorites, you know, because at first, you know, it's kind of interesting in that your brain's processing, you know, the dong that's on the screen, and it's taken a while for it to you know, calibrate in your brain what's happening to you, and then, you know, you start to analyze a little bit more into the size and the velocity and the all of the features of the spinning dong, and so Yeah, it's a nice little afternoon. you, you you catch a little meat spin with your friends, and then you sit around and analyze it and stuff. So nice little way to spend your day. All right, let's see what happens here though. The intent is to Poro snack, but if he just lets everything through, we get to follow up with the plunder Poro, which I'm fairly on board with. If you haven't seen the landmark, it's the updraft one, and so curious how that fits in here with Kennen Lillia. 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 That's probably what it's called. Some nerd out there is going to be like, you keep saying Demacia and Lillia.
Let's face the world straight together, dreamer.
He's talking about spinning dicks and he can't pronounce any of the names right. Welcome to the channel. That's what you signed up for. All right, so what do we got going on here? I'm trying to think if the Smoldering Smirk looks particularly good. It's like you got to stop and check all of your keywords, see if you hit Faded on anything, see if you hit Spirit on anything, get to pop off on any of those targets. We didn't quite land, but I mean, at the end of the day, we'll probably just not care about what he does here. Play the Poro snack, go into the next turn, drop in the Poro King, and then be ready with another Poro snack once he comes out. And so hopefully we can level up from there. Send your friend the old goats you pick later. You could probably just go download it and send it in a text message, you know, get with the times. Get with the times. Alright, how bad is this next turn gonna be? It's like, given what he has, I would like to get an open attack in. If he has a boost, these spirits are just gonna be bigger than everything that we have. But maybe that's okay. Yeah, I thought this is what happened. He doesn't give us the snack until we play another Poro just to get the regular one. And so, kind of suck. That seems like a good pass, though.
I hope you're excited to die too.
What's he doing? What is going on? Does he just have a very terrible draw? Like, I don't know. This is something that I had a touch of problem with the sleep deck, to where you do find yourself in a spot to where you just have a board full of stuff, but nothing to actually do with it. And so maybe that's the kind of space opponents found himself in here. See if we can't get this strike down. If he puts her to sleep, it's not that bad. Getting the kill feels pretty good. It is minorly worth noting that we have Augment on our Plunder Poro, and we are going to be casting created cards in these Poro snacks and the like, and so might get something special out of it. Hey, we did it. That spirit didn't outscale us with their terrible draw. And so, good games. We can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. And so, God, fucking ad block, go away. Here's the deck. Okay, thank you. And so, you know, we didn't really get to show off a lot of the, you know, kind of interesting combos. We never got to draw a Light of Demacia. We didn't pull off any of the real big challenges with Lux, and it just felt like kind of a bad Poros deck. And I could definitely kind of see that thought and idea behind what's going on here, but at the end of the day, I think with like a little bit more tweaking and a little tuning, and someone that's a little bit more experienced with the Poro King could probably come in and have a bit more success with this. But on day one of the meta, I think it does bring up some interesting things to run into, right? The idea that I had is that we should be outscaling every unit-based deck, right? If we are up against decks trying to do stuff with Spirit, we should probably be doing it better than them, right? There's not a ton of cards that really grant Spirit, and we have the things like the Poro Snacks and the Aurora Borealis and the Poro King to be generating these +1/+1 things over and over and over again. And so if our opponent spends their turn playing one boost card to give all of their dudes +1/+1, we might have the chance to come in and give all of our units +2/+2. Like, I feel like we should be able to scale harder than the other boost decks, and it just doesn't feel like we did that. It might have been the Seku game to where it was really just popping off with Lux, and they had a bunch of 10/10s on board, and our Poros were all like 3/3s. Like, that didn't feel very good. And then even against the game against elites, like, we should be out here just annihilating elites. And that game didn't feel super close either. And so we even lost it, right? And so it's kind of tough. So from like a real competitive gameplay perspective, I don't think that Poros is quite there. It feels like the scaling decks scale a little bit harder. But the thing that I will say is that in this current meta, in this current format, challengers are very good. People are trying their hardest to just sit around and do day one big powerful things. And so the challengers and the interactive elements aren't quite good in this space. Lux is a fairly easy champion to take down with the challenger, right? She's very good on offense with barrier, very bad on defense with her small stat line. And so Luxes can be picked on with interactivity. That's something to keep in mind as you progress through this format. Otherwise, we didn't pick up the Light of Demacia. I do really like this card. Just getting at a base 6 stats out of this thing. If you get a boost with an additional ally, that's another 6 stats that you're going to get. And then it has additional kind of targety things that it can do in terms of saying if you have a Fated unit or if you have a Morgana in your deck. Those cards that all care about targets and stuff do work with the Light of Demacia, and it does work with skill-based abilities. And so I know we're probably not playing something like Gen Lux, but it is worth keeping in mind that these are skills as they get activated off of the stories. So we are looking to play some stories here in the upcoming days. I wish we could have picked this one up because it is quite strong. The other interesting thing with it is if we are playing towards challengers, it's a focus speed skill, so you do have that ability to start your turn, use the Light of Demacia at focus speed to put a bonus onto a unit, and then kick off your open attack to make a really super powered open attack with the bonus coming out of the story. But otherwise, while it may not be the most strong deck at the moment, I did have fun with that. So, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.